Themes are the most important thing. The shittiest stock in a hot sector will do better than the best stock in a shitty sector or in a cold sector.
Yeah, most years a big chunk of my money comes from sector momentum. When you have these themes, if you can identify themes, like every year there's a few themes, some years more than others. If you identify those, it's gonna make a lot of money. So that's what I'm always doing. I see a new sector starting to move. I'm looking for other stocks in those sectors. Previously I've been nailing like the crypto sector back in 2017, early 2018. The wheat sector a couple of years ago. How do I find a hot sector? Well, what is the sector where a lot of stocks are going up 50, 100% in a few weeks? There you go. You have your hot sector. How you find a hot sector? Easy. You just scan for the strongest stocks. And then you look at the strongest stocks in that sector.
How do you find themes early? Well, you look at the volume. When you start multiple stocks in a sector start going up on volume, there you go. When you check the individual stocks in an industry, yeah, sure. If I see good setup in a stock, I look at what sector industry it's in, and I'm trying to look at what the other stocks in that sector industry look like. Because you never want to buy, something that's just random. You want the whole sector to look good, the whole industry. Like, for example, the oil and gas names lately, or the steel names. Like, they've all been going. They all had 4 or 5-star breakouts a few weeks ago. It's not like 1 or 2 names. They all moving. That's what you want to see. It's the same thing with the tech and software names last year. They all went higher. Or a lot of them, at least. Not all of them, obviously. There's always some laggards in every sector, but...
Most effective way to tell which sectors to look at or trade in, just focus on strong stocks with good setups. You don't have to overthink things. How do I go about monitoring existing and new themes? Very easy. Which stocks are making big moves? Which stocks are showing relative strength? Which stocks have intriguing stories, catalysts? Oh, well, it's not easy because I miss a lot of themes, but I do identify a lot of them too. At the end of the day, stick to strongest stocks, stick to good setups, and you won't miss a single theme. Or, well, you will, but you will catch major opportunities.
Sector strength. I use my eyes mostly to gauge sector strength. When I see a lot of solars breaking out from long bases, I use my 2 brain cells and my eyes to figure out that, the whole sector is strong. Or did you want me to share some advanced code you can put into your charting software? In that case, I don't have any. Sorry.
What the theme of the market will be next year, I have no idea. Let the market show you. You don't have to look at any predictions or this or that. Let the market tell you. The market is always going to tell you what it's going to do in advance. All you have to do is listen. The only thing you have to listen to is the market. The market is going to show you which stocks are going to be hot. Not some analyst, not some talking head on TV. It's the market. Your job is to find these stocks that's showing momentum and relative strength, etc., etc. I wish I had identified the theme earlier. The high short interest theme. I did drop that one. Usually you get 3-4 big themes per year. I usually catch like half of them and then I miss the half of them. The other half. So SRAX, this one I've been long for a while too. I bought it on this day here when it broke out of this tight range. And I've been stalking these blockchain related stocks for weeks and months. I know this thing can go. I usually have these different themes I track. Like I have cobalt and lithium related, China related, blockchain, AI, Mariana, and some opioid epidemic. Potential sectors that can go. And we get usually like 2, 3, 4 themes per year that make enormous moves. And this is just one of them. Stalking pays. You stalk them and you When the time is right, you buy them, and yeah, it's paid handsomely. Where do you get your knowledge? I mean, a lot of these companies, it's, you read about it. I usually, what I usually do is I skim through Seeking Alpha. Like, there's a lot of, 90% of the articles are bullshit, but sometimes you find, you can read up on these companies, like, especially, like, when a new companies are coming to the market, or like I just skim through them. I don't, do any, like, I haven't done it in a while now. I've been lazy because I made so much money. I haven't, I didn't give a shit. But it's kind of good exercise. Just go through these. You find a ticker, and just, oh, banks is not really my thing. But let's see, Novocure, right? NVCR. So this thing has big earnings. As it's a big move. It's been going up for years and years. So what's the driving force? You can just, click and read. You don't have to do like in-depth stuff, but just quickly go through. Well, that's interesting. That's how you learn about these companies, and you will learn about trends and themes. Because if you find something that's really intriguing, well, guess what? Maybe there's 20 multi-billion-dollar funds or 100 multi-billion-dollar funds out there who thinks the stock is equally intriguing, and they're gonna buy it. Pro tip. That's how you learn.
You don't need to know in detail what a company does, but you do need to know what sector it is in, roughly. Like, for example, like, I don't know in detail what Plug, BLDP, F-Cell, and BE do, but I do know they're in fuel cells, which is like alternative energy. And I don't know what, SPWR, FSLR, EMPH, JKS, DQ, I don't know in detail what they do, but I do know they're in solar panels or related businesses, which is also alternative energy or clean energy. So I think it's very important to know this sector, but you don't need to go and read up on the balance sheets or start reading CEO comments and stuff like that. Not for trading purposes. All that matters is momentum and liquidity and the theme. You start a few in the sector. If you in the sector start running, the others will follow. Knowing the sector is super, super important, but you don't need to know the business in detail.
About sector rotation in bull markets, just follow the setups. You don't have to worry that much about it. Just follow the setups, follow your sell rules. You're gonna catch those rotations. No need to overthink it. All you really have to do is focus on good setups. Everything else is gonna take. You don't need to know what's going on in the world. You don't need to know what Trump's doing. You don't need to know what China's doing. You don't need to know the planetary movements. You don't need to, you really don't need to know much. What you need to have, if you want to get rich in the trading, you need to have focus. And you need to focus on the right things. Exactly. You need to know the earth is flat because of science. Are ETFs a good way to gauge if a sector is hot? Sure. If you have a sector ETF that's making a big move, obviously that sector is hot. Like, for example, I can just look at this XOP ETF to know that the oil sector has been really hot over the past 4 months. And it has. A lot of oil stocks are up 500%. At least the smaller ones, and some of the bigger ones are up maybe 100, 200%. Something like MRO, up 170%. P10, up 170%. What more oil names are there? What is this? WLL, up 170%. This one looks weird though.
Do I have a max risk per industry/sector? Not really. Like, I had 50% of my funds in the semiconductors like a month ago. But it's not like I bought them at the same time. I bought them over a period of like a week or 2 weeks. But you kind of have to understand the risks, Different sectors and industries have different risks.
This is what I was talking about yesterday. Someone didn't understand why I was short TCAT and long Seeking at the same time. They're in the same sector. Well, because of setups. TCAT had a short setup, and now it's down way a lot. And Seeking did shake me out, but look at them now. Like Seeking is at new highs pretty much. TCAP just keeps going lower. So that, you gotta trade setups. If you trade stocks in the same sector, that's how they do. Like they push each other. Then like one starts running, makes a big move. Then a few others start running. The first one takes a breather, pulls back. That's how they do. That's how they work. They don't have to trade exactly the same every day, every tick. Yeah, it doesn't want to go down it. Looks very strong. Oh my god, this thing is going. Oh my god, what? Now the volume is coming in. This thing had no volume. Like, oh my god, when I started buying it. I bought a tiny amount of shares. And even I canceled my order. So I only have like 2/3 of the shares I wanted. And now the volume is coming in. Okay. I found it on Twitter, pre-market. I saw it was gapping. I saw someone tweeting about it. It's I don't know. It's something to do with blockchain. That's why I bought it. These things can go low float. These things can really make moves. Oh, it's AMCN. Oh, that ticker. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So they changed the name. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Low float and blockchain. If you haven't noticed, blockchain related stocks are the hottest stocks right now. And if you have a very hot sector, even the shittiest stocks are gonna make bigger moves than the best stocks in a not very hot sector. That's how it is. That's how it works. You gotta be in the hot sectors. Obviously you can't just randomly buy anything, but you have a setup like this can too. It's a Chinese Bitcoin miner. That's where I bought it yesterday. Not because I like the setup, like love the setup or anything. And it's a very thin stock. It's not a big position, but I knew these types of stocks, when a sector gets really hot, these stocks can double and triple very fast. I've been doing this for a while. Like I know. Last time these like something like DPW, it's another getting pumped as a. Or actually, it's not getting pumped as a Bitcoin anymore, or a crypto play, but it used to be. No, it wasn't this one. IGC, but was it IGC? Yeah, so this was one, no, this was a weed name. Okay, anywho, whatever. It's the same thing. When a sector gets really hot, even some of these random shitty stocks, it can make enormous moves. Like IGC, look at this thing. Went from like 45 cents to 15 bucks. Now, this is a weed name back in 2018, but traders just want to find anything that's gonna be the next whatever. People are looking at this Mara, Riot, which I, by the way, nailed. I can't believe how well these work. But like when I bought Riot in the 4s, the same principle. And Mara when I bought it in the 2s. When a sector gets hot, these small ones can really go. And this Ante, this thing could go to 10 bucks. And if it doesn't work out, you take a small loss. If it works out, you're gonna have a big return. Also, right now the crypto sector is really hot. That's why I'm bought this Ante on Friday, opening range highs. I did get stopped out of it on the highs though, on the lows of the day, when it took out the lows of the day. But then I got back in late day when it kind of started building these higher lows. This can I bought a few days ago. Like these things, they're all like very thin stocks, tiny positions, like 1% positions in my overall accounts. But they all have the potential to double, triple, quadruple. That's why I'm keep buying those piece of shit illiquid names, because I know when a sector gets hot, those shitty small ones, they can go up hundreds and hundreds of percent. Is FSR an example how to trade a stock post earnings? When were the earnings? This thing doesn't even have any earnings. Isn't it a concept company? It has no earnings. Well, no. This was an episodic pivot. It had some PR memorandum of understanding with Foxconn, and obviously the volume was very big. Big volume. It's a hot sector. Electric vehicles. It's been building higher lows at this long base. That told me there's interest in this thing. You gotta put these things together. Hot sector, like all these EV stocks have made big moves over the past 6 months, 12 months. some stuff like NIO, Tesla, XBEV, LI, and obviously these are now fading. And this one is just coming out of a long base and had big volume. That's why I bought it.
BTBT, yeah, BTBT hasn't had a, this thing has been sideways for the past few months, where all the other crypto names have had big runs for the past month, right? Look at GBTC, look at SI, look at Mara, and now you look at BTBT. Something is wrong with it, it should have run. Now, if Bitcoin picks up again and goes another, takes another leg higher, I mean, can it run? Sure, but I wouldn't be interested in it unless it gets massive volume. Sometimes laggards can catch up, but I would like to see big volume, right? This thing has made big moves in the past, so it can definitely run. But yeah, unless it can get big volume and actually get moving.
Yeah, thanks guys. Hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Good luck, everyone. Don't forget to put in a lot of work during the weekend. That's the only way you're gonna make it in the. It's during the weekends. That's where your edge is honed. It's not watching, trading shopping markets. That's not where you get an edge. You get an edge by sitting there and doing things most people are not willing to do. That's where edge comes from.